You'll find all the necessary resources in nature that you will need to survive. Finding is an easy task, but putting them into use is definitely not. So the trick is to learn every necessary hack required to survive in the wilderness. Hello there everyone, and welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're teaching you 10 bushcraft skills and wilderness survival hacks. Feather stick. If you're out in the wild and you have no fire, then there's no chance you're going to survive for even a single night. Fire is essential for survival because you need fire to boil water. You can't just chug down any water that you see in the wild. You'll need to purify it first by boiling it. Fire is also a must to keep you warm, and you surely don't want to get hypothermia or frostbite. Fire will protect you from pestering bugs and insects, and lastly, living in the wild means being surrounded by wild animals at all times, so fire is also necessary to ward off dangerous wild animals. If you don't have a usual fire starter, then don't worry. All you need is some wood and a knife to make a feather stick, or fire stick as it's called. Grab your knife and peel off the wood layer by layer. The product you'll get will not only serve as a fire starter, but also as a tinder. Is it that hard? No, but it is one of the greatest survival hacks. We'll tell you more about these wilderness survival hacks, but before we go any further, do be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to get more video updates like this. Now let's continue. Flint knapping. We just told you to use a knife to make feather sticks, right? But let's just imagine a situation where you don't have a knife. Now that's not a very pleasant situation to imagine, but it could happen nonetheless. Enter flint knapping. Nothing beats a good old ancient survival hack. During primitive times, people used to make their tools from rocks. Those people left this world a long time ago, but their skills have remained intact. You can also turn rocks into useful tools like spears, but for that, you'll need a lot of patience and a steady hand. As they say, no pain, no gain. You'll also end up with a lot of blisters or cuts on your hands, so you'll have to go through a lot of pain before mastering this art. Plant ropes. A rope is another important survival gear that will help you with a lot of tasks. If you're making a shelter, then you'll need a rope. If you're making a trap, then you'll need a rope. If you're climbing somewhere, then you'll need a rope. And during many other tasks, you'll need a rope. But what if you don't have one? The good news is that you can make one. You can take a strong plant such as yucca and twist it to turn it into a rope, and voila! Again, this art will also require a lot of patience. Pot hanger. Bringing a portable stove is what many bushcraft explorers do, but if you want to get the real taste of wilderness, there's nothing better than cooking food directly over the flames, and for that, you'll need a pot hanger, which will help you keep your pot over the fire. Just grab a bunch of branches, notch them, and put them together. Not rocket science here. Making snares and trap. If we're being brutally honest, you can't expect to eat a variety of cuisines in the wild. If you've run out of your own food, then you might be left at the mercy of insects. Why insects though? Because they're easiest to find and will provide all the necessary nutrients. And don't be scared, some of them are quite tasty too. To capture prey, you should know how to make snares and traps. There are so many traps that you can learn to make, but one of the simplest and most effective traps is the deadfall trap. It consists of a log or a flat rock attached to a piece of wood, which acts as a trigger. When the trigger is hit, the flat rock or log falls on the prey, making it all yours. Easy peasy. Bark container. This is one of the most hardcore bushcraft skills. Even when you're in the wilderness, you'll need a container or a pot to store your boiled water or cooked food. You can't waste these hard-earned things. Let's say you don't have a container, you can make one. You can make a birch bark container. You can also use the other types of bark, but birch is one of the easiest ones to access. Rock boiling water. Now that you've made a birch bark container, here's another useful hack that you can do with that. Did you know that you can use your bark container to boil water as well? How? We'll teach you. All you need is to heat up some rocks in the fire and then put these heated rocks in the container. The heat from the rocks will easily boil the water in the container, but remember that you'll have to keep adding the heated rocks So patience is a must for this bushcraft skill as well. Bow drill fire starting method. There are so many ways to start a fire without having a matchbox or a lighter. You must be thinking about rubbing two sticks together right now, but forget that. Rubbing sticks to start a fire will waste a lot of your time, so instead, you can learn to make a bow drill. This trick can allow you to get the maximum friction without torturing your hands. The bow drill consists of 5 parts: the bow, the string, the handle, the drill, and the fireboard. All of these could be made from a variety of wood. A bow is constructed to rotate the drill while it's attached to the notched fireboard. Quickly moving the drill creates pressure and friction, which ultimately precedes heat when the heated power or chair falls on the tinder, which is placed under the fireboard. You'll see smoke coming from the pile of tinder. And voila! Shelter building. Everything you do or make for yourself will go to waste if you don't know how to make a shelter for yourself. It's no doubt one of the most important bushcraft skills. According to the experts, it's more important than making fire, more important than finding food, and even more important than finding water, because the survival rule of threes teaches us that while you can survive for up to 3 days without water, you can only survive 3 hours without shelter. You might be wondering how that's possible, and the answer isn't wild animals. Your biggest enemy in the wild is hypothermia. It's a real killer. If you're stranded without a tent, then the experts suggest that the easiest type of outdoor shelter you can build is the lean-to shelter. You can use commonly found natural materials to build it. If you're willing to put in more effort, then collect some logs and put them in a rectangular frame. Fill this frame with debris. It could be anything such as pine branches or dried leaves. This debris will act as an insulator and prevent the heat from reaching your body from the ground. Experts reveal that the most body heat is lost through ground transfer, so this method could easily save your body heat. Treatment of the wounds. Doing all these hacks, you'll likely end up with different cuts, open wounds, or other injuries, and there'll be no doctor in sight. You'll have to deal with everything on your own. That's when you'll have to turn to natural remedies. In ancient times, people of different tribes used to make medicines from plants for healing purposes, and they worked like magic. So here, knowing about medicinal plantain is very important. We can tell you a few, such as rose hips and sphagnum moss, are best for treating wounds. You can use these herbs to clean the wound and stop it from getting any infections. We would recommend you to get a booklet of medicinal plants before you set to venture into the wild, because if you're lost in the wild and don't know these hacks, then sorry to break it to you, your survival will be very difficult. That about does it for this video. Hope you found this to be very useful. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time in another video. Bye for now.